السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسوله النبي الكريم. أما بعد، يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه العزيز بعد أن أقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قد أفلح من زكاها. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Last week, we went over the beginning of the series of purifying our hearts. The importance of purifying our hearts is so important that it would unite literally the ummah. It would save so many family members. It would help prevent so many fights. If people gave its due importance. So today, inshallah, I want to continue somewhat of an introduction and why the hearts harden and an image for us of a before and after. What do I mean by a before and after image? Is that when we renovate this place, we have before and after pictures. When we first originally got this place and we had to remove the flooring, we took the before pictures. And then when the carpet's installed, the paint is done and the lights are done, then you take the after pictures. If you look at all the great ulama, look at the before of Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayh, and look at the after of Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayh after he went to Damascus. Look at the before of Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala and the after of Umar radiyallahu ta'ala. Their before and after was beautiful. What changed all of these people? Many great ulama, mashayikh, what made them amazing is the fact that they concentrated on purifying themselves. It's a powerful thing. Your heart is attached and connected to Allah. What more do you need? What more do you want? So many ulama. Mufti Ahmad bin Gawhir rahmatullahi alayh, known as the faqih of Deoband. And when he met his sheikh and the line of tasawwuf and purifying his heart, he told him that this is not for me. Purifying your hearts is not for me. And eventually, just by sitting in his sheikh's company, he changed his complete mindset and he started getting up for tahajjud and doing the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he had a complete change. In our maslak and in our manhaj, Mufti Ahmad bin Gawhir rahmatullahi alayhi is known as the top. At the top of the line of muftis. Why? Because there's a before and after. Before the tazkiyah was done and after the tazkiyah was done. I know the word tasawwuf is commonly used, but it's also misinterpreted too. So we can stick with the terminology used in the Quran. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. No one can deny that verse. The successful ones are the ones who purified themselves. What made the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala ajma'een amazing is the fact that their iman was so strong. They were so powerful. In the battle of Badr, when it's 313 against 1,000, how? How are they able to do that? How are they able to be so confident? Why? Because their hearts were pure and they knew their hearts were connected to Allah. What more do they need? As human beings, we're going through so much. We might go through anxiety, we might go through depression, mental illness, we might go through so many diseases from jealousy and anger and hatred and we go through all of these things. But the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala ajma'in, they were powerful individuals because they concentrated on their heart. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ. Because of me, it is through my rahmah that you are soft, that you are kind, that you are compassionate. وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ. Allah is addressing this clearly. غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ. If you were hard-hearted, if your heart was hard, وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَنْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. Everyone would run away from you. The Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala, they would not want to be in your company. So our heart is something that's important. We take it so lightly. You get so much sukoon. A human being will get so much sukoon. A person has the opportunity to taste the halawa and the sweetness of iman when they concentrate on themselves. Nothing bothers you. In the time of the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala ajma'in, there was a neighborhood that all the houses caught on fire. And this particular person kept reading his salah. And all the houses burnt down except for his. He knew there was a fire going on. Why didn't he stop praying? And someone asked him, why were you so confident that your house will not burn down? He said, because after Salat al-Fajr, I said, Bismillah alladhi la yadurru ma'asmihi shay'un fil ardi wala fis sama'i wa huwa as-sami'ul 'alim, 3 times. I said this after Salat al-Fajr. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whosoever recites this dua after Salat al-Fajr, 3 times he will be saved from the calamity of that day. How do they have such yaqeen? How do they have such yaqeen? Why is it that you can have a gathering and the speaker is talking about Allah and His Messenger sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, and to certain individuals, something's overtaking them and they're feeling emotional, they're feeling a connection with Allah, they're feeling a desire to do more good deeds, whereas the same person sitting right next to you doesn't have the same desire, doesn't have the same emotions, doesn't want to do ibadah like you. Why? Because the hearts are different. When the heart is hard, you can't fill it with anything. But when it's filled with iman, when it's filled with purifying, then everything can go in it. Everything can go in it. So that we take this so lightly. But look at the life of Umar radiallahu ta'ala before he became a Muslim and after he became a Muslim. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala was so powerful. He had such tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that when he became Amir al-Mu'mineen, when he had conquered half of the world, someone came to Medina with the intention of assassinating Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala. This is a Roman soldier. He came with the intention of assassinating Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala. A Roman soldier comes to Medina. He doesn't know what Umar radiallahu ta'ala looks like. And he came and he asked, Man Umar, who's Umar? Where is Umar? Who is he? He's Amir al-Mu'mineen. He's conquered half of the world. And someone tells the Roman soldier that under the tree, the person sitting there, that's Umar. He was shocked. His heart is telling him that I came here with the intention to attack him, but this person, he's Amir al-Mu'mineen, the leader of the believers, the leader of the faithful. And he's sitting under a tree with no guards, with no protection. So he said, I came with the intention of assassinating him, but my heart told me I can't attack this person. I can't do it. Because his reliance on Allah is so powerful. His trust in Allah is so powerful. This is a Roman soldier saying this. I can't do it. Something doesn't feel right. I mean, I thought I was going to have to fight a lot of guards and beat, kill a few people before I could even get to Umar. I mean, sitting under a tree sleeping. How? Who didn't want to assassinate Umar radiallahu ta'ala from the non-Muslims? Who did not want to take down the Muslim empire? But he had such sukoon. He slept like, so comfortably, like, we would say sleep like a baby, with no worry, no concern. That is their iman. Look at Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had decided to leave Makkah and migrate to Medina, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew that the people were preparing to assassinate him, so he told Ali radiallahu ta'ala to take a spot. He told Ali radiallahu ta'ala to take a spot. So Ali radiallahu ta'ala is now in the bed of where Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam sleeps. While Ali radiallahu ta'ala is mindful of the fact that these people are preparing to attack him. These people are preparing to assassinate the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And they planned it very well. The Quraysh planned it very well. They brought everyone, they brought one person from every tribe. So no one can tell which tribe assassinated the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Ali radiallahu ta'ala is in the spot of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's very possible that they would enter the house and just start assassinating the person that's laying on the bed. So it's a very scary situation. Imagine one of us right now. And we're told, okay, we need you to stay in that bed because somebody might attack, so we want you to take his spot. How would we feel? How would we sleep? How would we fall asleep knowing that someone might kill us today? Yani, alhamdulillah, we live in such comfort, such peace. That thought doesn't even come to our mind. We don't even know how it feels like that somebody might assassinate us. When somebody asked Ali radiallahu ta'ala, how was your night that night? He said, I slept so happily, so peacefully, sitting in the bed, laying down in the bed of a Nabi. What a blessed spot to be. Laying down in the bed of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, knowing that I might be assassinated in this place. What an honor. What a privilege. He slept so comfortably, so easily. How? Because their hearts were connected to Allah. Nowadays, we're scared to show our identity. We don't want other people to know we're Muslims. And Ali radiallahu ta'ala is taking the place of where he could possibly be assassinated. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهُ. They purified their souls. And they were able to do things that majority of us are not able to do. Hamza radiallahu ta'ala, look at him before he became a Muslim, look at him after he became a Muslim. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala, before and after. Walid ibn Mughira, when he would approach the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would curse at him, swear at him, ridicule him, mock him. He would harass. Walid ibn Mughira would harass the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His son Khalid bin Walid radiyallahu ta'ala. Look at the before and after. Walid ibn Mughira, the one who would insult, ridicule, mock, and harass the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at Khalid bin Walid. Abu Ubaidah radiallahu ta'ala, who was known as the commander-in-chief. And at that time, Ali radiallahu ta'ala was, Khalid bin Walid radiallahu ta'ala was not the commander-in-chief. And Abu Ubaidah radiallahu ta'ala asked, the generals, there's 30,000 or 60,000 people, their army is going to attack us. So he asked the generals, how many people should we send against this army of 60,000? Everyone stayed quiet. They didn't want to speak in front of Khalid radiallahu ta'ala. So they asked Khalid bin Walid radiallahu ta'ala. Finally, they asked Khalid bin Walid radiallahu ta'ala, what is your opinion? So he said, Ya Amir, Ya Abu Ubaidah, I think we should send 30 people. He said, I wanted to say a lower number, but I don't think you would accept it. Abu Ubaidah radiallahu ta'ala said, I think it's too low of a number, let's send 60. The point isn't how many they sent. The point is that is how powerful their iman was. That is how strong their yaqeen was. Now imagine, a lot of people, they like to say, these are made up stories by the Muslims. These are made up stories by the Muslims. That's what like people like to say. And unfortunately, even Muslims like to say that occasionally. You know, it's far-fetched. Half of the Ummah was conquered in the time of Umar radiallahu ta'ala. Half of the Ummah was conquered in the time of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala. How many Muslims did they have when the Prophet passed away? Prophet passed away the 11th year after Hijri. 11th year after Hijri, the Prophet, I mean, the work was starting. They didn't even reach Rome yet. They didn't even reach the Persian army yet. They didn't reach so many places. They didn't even leave Arabia. The Prophet didn't even leave the Arabian Peninsula. Prophet passed away in the 11th year after Hijri. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala was Amir al-Mu'mineen for 2 years. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala was Amir al-Mu'mineen for 10 years. For 10 years, that means 12 years after the demise of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, half of the Ummah was conquered. Not written, I'm not talking about what the Muslim historians wrote. I'm talking about what the non-Muslim Orientalists wrote. How is it possible? If anything, that seems far-fetched. How is it possible? They barely had men. They barely had an army. So it's not far-fetched that it was 10,000 versus 60,000. They barely had Muslims. How are they able to do it? Allah addresses this in the Quran. كَمْ مِنْ فِئَةٍ قَلِيلَةٍ غَلَبَتْ فِئَةً كَثِيرَةً بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. How many times a smaller army overpowered a larger army? How? That is how strong their iman was. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum were not looking at numbers. As a matter of fact, the time they looked at numbers, at that moment they were losing the battlefield. They were losing the battle. When the Prophet ﷺ walked into Makkah with his army, there was 10,000 Muslims. In the Battle of Hunayn that took place after the conquest of Makkah, there was 11,000 Muslims in the Battle of Hunayn. Sahaba finally said, oh, we have such large numbers. Now we're going to easily win the battle. They relied on numbers, not Allah. They relied on numbers, not Allah. And when they relied on numbers, they were losing the battle. And finally, the Prophet ﷺ told his uncle, Abbas radiallahu ta'ala, to remind them who they are, and call them by their family members. And when Abbas radiallahu ta'ala reminded who they were, they reminded them that you are Muslims, you are believers, you are from this family, you are from that family. They remembered that the only way they will win this battle is not on their numbers, it's with Allah's help. And that is when they started winning. So as soon as the Sahaba relied on numbers, they were losing. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what does He say? وَإِن تُطِعْ أَكْثَرَ مَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ يُضِلُّكَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. If you were to follow the majority, you will be misguided. And we say, if the majority voted, that's who we're going to elect. Yeah? And our previous president proved this. وَإِن تُطِعْ أَكْثَرَ مِنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ يُضِلُّكَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. If you were to follow the majority, you'll be misguided. When you rely on numbers, you'll be misguided. No. Quality with Iman is so powerful. You have the likes of Abu Jahl, before and after. But then you have the son Ikrama ibn Abi Jahl. Ikrama, Abi Jahl. Ikrama ibn Abi Jahl, and what do we say? Ikrama ibn Abi Jahl radiyallahu ta'ala an. Radiyallahu ta'ala an Ikrama. And the Prophet ﷺ told the Sahaba radiyallahu anhu, don't talk about his father Abu Jahl in front of you. Look at them before and after. And when they became Muslims, they defended Islam with all their lives, wealth, everything. I would say, Jan, Mal, everything. You had the likes of Abu Jahl, and then you had the likes of Ikramah. This is a before and after. What changed these people? The company of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes it in the Quran. لَقَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ بَعَثَ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا Allah had ihsan upon us. Allah showered His favors upon us by doing what? Sending the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam do? He had 4 tasks. يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِ. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent with 4 tasks. I'm not making this up. This is Quran. Think about it for a second. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is sent for 4 things. Number 1, يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ, to recite upon you the verses. Alhamdulillah, we can also do tilawah of Quran. وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ, to purify them. And then وَيُعَلِّمُهُمَ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ, to teach you the book. Inshallah, we can say, we study the book, we study tafsir, we hear Quranic verses and an explanation. And hikmah, the hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But we always overlook number 2. We do ta'aleem of Quran. We do ta'aleem of al-hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We do tilawah of Quran. When do we do yuzakkihim? What is yuzakkihim? Taqiyah is put to the side. What's number 2? Yuzakkihim. What happened to yuzakkihim? Why don't we give it its importance anymore? What happened to yuzakkihim? Why was it removed? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent for 4 things. We do 3. We missed number 4. And number 4, to an extent, even though tilawah of Quran has that included, but number 2 is the most important. And yuzakkihim came before ta'limul kitab and hikmah. Yatlu alayhim ayatihi wa yuzakkihim. Because if you do yatlu alayhim ayatihi, then yuzakkihim has its effect. You can't do tazkiyah without tilawah of Quran. What is Allah telling us? So beautiful are these verses. Allah knew. Allah knows. Majority of us will not be able to do ta'lim of Quran. Majority of us do not understand Quran. Majority of us do not understand tafsir. Majority of us do not get a chance to understand the hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But all of us do tilawah of Quran. All of us do tilawah of Quran. That's number 1. It doesn't matter how learned you are. It doesn't matter how big of a scholar and allama you are. The greatest person to set foot on the face of this earth was the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he's commanded by Allah, "O Muhammad, you have been sent with 4 tasks. Number 1, tilawah of Quran." Doesn't matter if you don't understand it. It doesn't matter if you don't know its depth, meaning. No. Tilawah of Quran. If you do tilawah of Quran, then yuzakkihim is number 2. Then if you get a chance, do ta'limul kitab and hikmah. To yuzakkihim, we put it to the side. We put everything else to the side. But yuzakkihim, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent that as number 2. So the first responsibility was to recite Quran. Then tazkiyah. What's tazkiyah? No love of dunya. Our only concentration should be akhirah. Then you're ready for ta'lim al-kitab. Because why? Because if you don't do yuzakkihim, and then you memorize Quran, you study Quran, you learn the tafsir of the Quran, you learn the ahadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but you don't do yuzakkihim, then that tafsir that you studied, that Quran you studied, those bayans you gave, those speeches you gave, that tilawah you did, all of that was not for akhirah, it was for showing off. I'm an amazing speaker, my presentation is amazing, my recitation is amazing, the way I articulate my speeches, and nowadays, mashallah, people's speeches are written up and they pay millions of dollars to make presentation and everything. Yuzakkihim was not done, ta'limul kitab and ta'limul hikmah was useless. As a matter of fact, now that ta'lim you did of Quran, that ta'lim you did of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam will now be witnesses against you, not for you. Because you didn't do yuzakkihim. What is yuzakkihim? My concentration is akhirah. I don't want this dunya at all. Last week someone asked me, and inshallah this is a topic, one of the topics we will touch to. Can we become wealthy? Can we get rich? Having wealth is not a problem. Having a nice car is not a problem. Having a big house is not a problem. Being attached to that big house, being attached to that car, being attached to that money, that's a problem. Does it hurt you more when you lose money, or does it hurt you more when you miss Fajr? Does it hurt you more when you miss Fajr, or does it hurt you more when you lose money? That's how you test your attachment. How do we feel? Oh, we lost a lot of money today. How do we feel? Oh, anxiety takes over us. Oh, worry, I can't believe I lost this money. You miss Fajr? It's okay, I can do qada. Not a big deal. I miss Zuhr, it's okay. One salah. I prayed so many salats. I prayed so many Zuhrs in my lifetime, it's okay. One salah. I lost $100. Can't believe you lost $100. We nitpick. Our accountant's very nitpicky. You lost 5 cents. How dare you lose 5 cents? No, I have to put that 5 cents into account. Having money is not a problem. Being attached to that money is a problem. The Prophet ﷺ, number 2 with tazkiyah. When we get sick, what do? We look for medicine. When our hearts are not pure, we're sick. Well, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us. But let's say somebody all of a sudden finds out that they have cancer. What will we start doing? Right now, if someone finds out they have cancer, what happens? I have to do whatever it takes to cure myself. That person is fully focused on the cure. When our hearts are not purified, we have something worse than cancer. When we have hasad, when we have enmity, when we have hatred, when we have grudges, when we don't like people, when we keep distance from people because we don't want to deal with them, then we have the worst type of cancer because our hearts are full of dirt. We have dirt in our heart, and when we have dirt in our heart, we won't be able to enter Jannah. When we have dirt in our hearts, we won't be able to enter Jannah. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, if a person has an iota amount, an atom's amount of pride in their heart, they will not enter Jannah. If you have a small amount of arrogance and pride and takabbur in your heart, the Prophet ﷺ said, that person will not enter Jannah. A prideful heart will never set foot in Jannah. People like to say, me, ma, I'm this, I'm that, I did this, I accomplished this, my brain, my understanding, ma. When the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala was making dua, and he started making dua for himself. Oh Allah, grant me this, grant me this. Or that person started making dua and he said, specifics. Ya Allah, I want this type of house. The Prophet ﷺ said to him, why are you being stingy in your dua? Be inclusive, make dua for everyone. Include everyone in your dua. You're making dua anyways, what's the problem in including other people in your dua? Oh Allah, grant us all Jannah. Oh Allah, grant me Jannah, grant me. No, grant us all Jannah, Ya Allah. How are we stingy in our duas? Prophet ﷺ did not like that. Even in Urdu, in Arabic too, to say nahnu, to say hum is more adab and more respectful. Hamari rai. Meri rai, it's more disrespectful. Our opinion is more respectful. Saying us is more respectful even in the Arabic language. Saying I and me is not adab. So a person who has a small amount of pride in their heart, they will not enter Jannah. If we have cancer in this dunya, it's okay. Allah is curing us through that cancer. Allah is forgiving us through that cancer. How lucky is the person who gets sick, who had a consistent habit of doing ibadah? Because now when he had a consistent habit of doing ibadah, now he's too sick to perform that ibadah. Allah will give him the reward of that ibadah even though he's not doing that ibadah. So in reality, to an extent, that cancer is a blessing in disguise. But we're looking for the cure. We're running for the cure. We're looking for everything to cure ourselves from cancer. But when we have the cancer and the disease of shaitan in our hearts, when we have jealousy, when we have hatred, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell us to do and recite in the last 2 surahs of the Quran? وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. Oh Allah, protect us from the jealousy of those who are jealous. Why? It's such a big deal. It's such a big deal. Masajid have people that are jealous of each other. Imams and ulama have people that are jealous of each other. No one is safe from it. Family members might be the cause of jealousy. You're not safe from anyone. وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. Jealousy is also a disease of shaitan. You can find so many narrations of the Prophet ﷺ that how he kept talking about purifying our hearts. Look at the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. How were they able to do anything they did? When the Muhajirun moved to Medina, how was it? How is it possible that the Ansar said to the Muhajirun radiallahu anhum ajma'in, you can have half of our assets. You can have half of everything we have. What does a father do? I want to save everything for my children. I don't want anyone else to get it. I want to save everything for my children. The Ansar are saying that to people they've never met. The Ansar are saying that about people they have never met. How? قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. The successful ones are the ones who purify themselves. How many times do you find? How many narrations do you find where someone says, I don't have transportation. I don't have a ride. The likes of Sayyidina Usman ibn Affan radiallahu ta'ala show up. Ya Rasulullah, I'll give him my camel. How many times does someone come to us and say, I don't have a car? Okay, here's a car. Just like that. One is, okay, we'll collect donations, we'll prepare it, let me ask a few people. Another is, Lelo, I'll give it to you right away. Without hesitation. You need a car? Here it is. Right away, here it is. How? Because he has such trust in Allah. Sometimes the Prophet ﷺ didn't have food in his house for 2 months, except for dates and water. How? Aisha radiallahu ta'ala, she says, one day we slaughtered a goat, and now look, she rarely gets meat. She rarely gets meat. They don't have a fridge in their home. They slaughter the goat, and the Prophet ﷺ said, make sure you share some of the meat we got with our neighbors. When he came back, he asked her, what is left? She said, Ya Rasulullah, only the shoulder or the foot, one leg is left. Everything else we distributed. Imagine our reaction. We bought some nice steak. We told our wife, okay, prepare it. And you're coming home, you're looking forward to eating that nice, tender, delicious steak. And you find out your wife, she gave away everything. She donated it all. And she kept the portion that no one likes. What was our reaction? How dare you? We rarely get it. We finally got some nice food, delicious food to eat. Why did you give it away? What was the reaction of the Prophet ﷺ? Did he say, how dare you give away the whole goat? This is not a aqiqah, this is not a walima. It's not like our neighbors don't have food. His reaction is, oh Aisha, the truth is, we saved the entire goat, and the only thing we didn't save is the foot. We saved everything. She said, we only saved the foot. The Prophet ﷺ responded and said, we saved everything except the foot. How? How were they able to do this? Where did this concept come from? This is what tazkiyah is about. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding and the importance of tazkiyah, not just for us, but our children too. If our children have pure hearts, clean hearts, and we concentrated on that, what more do we need? If they don't become ulama, they don't become huffaz, but their hearts are clean, they have good akhlaq, they have good manners, they're good Muslims, they're good people, they don't hold enmity, they don't have grudges in their hearts, they don't have jealous of others, they are satisfied and content with whatever Allah gives them, what more do we want? I was hoping to complete the introduction, but I think inshallah we'll have to continue the introduction from next week, and inshallah we'll finish off the introduction next week, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala purify our hearts. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clean our hearts to such an extent that it will be a mean and a cause of uniting this ummah. May it be a means and cause of uniting our family members. May it be a means of protecting our family members and our children, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.